Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me. Today I'm pretty excited about this one. This is the 2023 reissue of Magic Square's MS-B35 Blues, the Legend Scale version of Jazz. I've done 2 reviews on this already, so we're not going to go through the transformation, but we will do comparisons with the previous releases. Still a great mold. There are subtle differences to this version compared to previous releases. We'll definitely take a look at that. But all that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. As always, we're going to start with the accessories. It comes with a poster style instruction manual, as to be expected. You do get the Legend Scale trading card as well. Shares the same box art. And on the back, you've got the silhouette and stats. He comes with 2 of these and 4 of the little tweeters. These serve 2 purposes. They can be worn on the side of the legs for speakers, or they can be used in both directions in robot mode to either have speakers appear underneath the hood on his chest, or you could take the tweeters off and just make it a solid piece underneath the chest instead of having a hole. It's a pretty nice addition, and I have to admit, for these fingers, these little tweeters were very hard to get in. A tip that I figured out: just trim a little bit of plastic off the very end of it, and that will help guide it into the hole. He does come with 2 of the world's smallest faces. This one being the angry yelling face, metallic blue paint for the visor, and the face itself just done in gray. And they are very, very small. The second face is just a motionless face, again with blue for the visor. Whatever you do, do not drop these on gray carpet, because like me, you'll have to spend an hour trying to find it. He comes with 2 additional closed-fisted hands. In the box attached, you'll find that he has some open-fingered trigger hands, so you have the option of going either route. Either does work with transformation as well. He comes with 2 of these speakers, 1 for each side, done in a nice purple, which feels painted, and a silver cone. You do have to assemble them, and it's fairly simple to do, just like that. And these will attach in both alt mode and bot mode. It comes with his blaster. Same thing we see before. The second release had this painted silver, whereas this time it's gray. Lastly, he comes with a shoulder launcher. The launcher itself done in black plastic, nicely detailed. It's got even a little sight on there, so it appears as though you can use it as a gun. Missile done in silver. It is removable if you choose to do so, just like that. So we're going to start the review in alt mode. As I said, we've shown the transformation both ways already, so this is where we'll start. He comes in robot mode, but as you can see, this version does have the clear windows on the side of the doors and the windshield. A little bit disappointing in the rear windows and rear windshield being done in metallic silver. It's a little bit of a color difference, but not as bad as this guy. So I think it's okay. One thing I do really enjoy is they went with a much lighter blue for the stripes this time. I think it looks fantastic. Looking at the sides, you've got the same coloring, the light blue and red on the wheel wells. Silver for the rims this time. One thing I did notice, the previous releases, the 4 was actually embossed and detailed into the door. This time it's not, but I will say the detail on the number 4 is actually crisp this time. On the other 2 releases, it was somewhat faded or less clear, fuzzy, for lack of a better term. It does look a lot better without the embossment. You've got the black on the spoiler, which isn't pushed in all the way. There we go. Coming around the back, you got the tailpipe, not much detail here. But on the front, you've got the same metallic blue as the rear windows for the headlights, some black detail, as well as a silver charcoal color for the grille. Overall, I think that it looks really good, despite just that slight color difference. It's not that bad. It looks worse on camera than it does in person, if that makes sense. So let's compare them to the other releases. This is the original release with the metallic windows. All three do still have the black across the top of the windshield. But as you can see, much more vibrant blue on the paintwork. I think it looks fantastic. Everything else on this is the same. I forgot to mention the red underneath the front of the bumper, which is on all three. But if you can look at the number 4, the line work, just, it appears crisp, more well-defined on this version than on this version. You can see how fuzzy it looks. A better example is on the second release. It just looks fuzzy and not well done, not even that dark. Much darker, much better looking. On the second release, the blue stripe was even darker than the first. A little bit of a color variation on the lights, and the windows all done in black with a smoked translucent plastic for the front windows and windshield. And then of course you do have the gold colored rims on the second release. Here he is with the more realistic New Age Jazz, which is a bit bigger. Magic Square definitely pulls off the tune look. Like I said before, you can use the purple speakers in all mode. You just simply plug them in to the hole here under the spoiler. You can certainly get away with that look if that's what you prefer. And here we have Jazz in bot mode. Articulation and everything is still the same, but we'll take a look at it anyway. Taking a good look at the face sculpt. Again, done in gray. Nice smiley face, which is fitting for the character. Head's done in black plastic. Articulation-wise, it can go all the way back and a little bit down, but the nice thing about this mold, one gripe that some people have, is the head doesn't tab in, but you get the benefit there of a little added articulation to the neck joint. So if you want him to look down even more, you can. It's a nice touch, actually. Solid across the shoulders, which is nice. Arms up to there. Full 360. More than 90 on the bend. Hands do rotate. They're a bit tight. All the tolerances are actually nice and tight on this version. Waist full 360. 90-degree ab crunch. Hip skirts, you do need to get out of the way for side movement. And kick to the side, you're really limited to that. But it's not a huge deal. As far as forward movement, that's where he really shines. The hip skirt moves along with the hips, giving you the ability to kick all the way up. As far as knee bend, it's double jointed. You can get it as far as the sculpt will let you if you want to get more. Bend the spoiler back, and you have that. Nicely done. As far as the feet, they do have full ankle tilt. There is a rocker. It seems a little bit limited when it's in this position, but if you bend the leg back, utilize that rocker, it does give you a lot more. So nice motion on the feet, actually. As far as paint, once again, you notice the brighter blue on the chest. White on the chest is not painted. You got the blue, black, and silver from alt mode. This portion is entirely painted because it is clear plastic, so be careful. Clear plastic's always brittle. You do have paint on the forearms. A little bit sloppy on mine. I'll probably clean that up myself a little bit, but still looks good. No paint on the thighs. The shins are gray paint on black plastic. You got a little bit of a darker charcoal gray there on the kneecap, and then gray here on the top of the feet. But overall sculpting, paint, everything that's there looks fantastic. I wish they would have done what they did in previous releases, previous reissues, such as their Prime, giving them a little more detail, but I think what they've provided us is actually fine. Bringing in the other two, just for comparison, you can see definitely the darker paint on the blue on both versions. Definitely a standout there. You got the different color rims between the second and third release. And obviously the windows are the blue, which we can go ahead and bring out now. They do swing out. They do have a little bit of a back motion if you want, but you can actually put them pretty much in any position you want. But overall, they look good. And just quick comparison to the original. Again, if you look at the blues on the hip skirts, it might be hard to see on camera, but the blue is a little bit lighter on the new version as opposed to the other two. But otherwise, just minor differences. And I believe that they all do look really, really fantastic. As before, you have the display option of putting the speakers, the tweeters, on the abdomen if you want to display it like that. You can also put them on the side of the hip skirts for hip speakers. Honestly, what I prefer to do is join the two speaker sections together and then install it on the chest like so. And what this does is it allows you to fill the gap created by the transformation under the hood. Gives you a nice solid black surface underneath. You can't use it in alt mode, but I definitely think it adds a little something to robot mode, honestly. You can also bring in this gun. This will fit into either the closed fist or this open fist hand just fine. Also bring in the shoulder cannon, which, as you can see, you have the option to mount on either shoulder. But I think it looks really good. The rocket does come off, and the launcher pivots, so you do have options for angling it. No rotation though. One thing about this version, the gun is just gray. The second version with the black windows did have a silver painted gun. As I said before, you can use the purple speakers in alt mode. It just plugs into the back of the windows on the doors. So you have that display option. One difference with the second release had those in a metallic blue and silver paint, which does look pretty phenomenal, honestly. Another minor difference is the speakers that are black on this version and the original release is gray with this version. For size comparison, here he is with Magic Square's Side Swipe and Prowl. So right in line with the Carbots. And here he is with New Age Wheeljack and a version of their Prime. So a little bit tall for the new age aesthetic. So let's start by talking about the bad. Little bit of stiffness in the joints. They mainly having to do with the neck area. I do prefer it tight like this, so just be aware. It is a little snug. Also, the clear windows, or the clear plastic used on the back, I've heard reports that it's brittle. I've not seen any breakages, but somebody's informed me that there have been. Be careful, as you would with all clear plastic toys. It becomes very brittle and can break easily. So just be cautious and you should be fine. The positives definitely do outweigh the negatives. The articulation is phenomenal. Detailing looks like he's just jumped right out of the cartoon, honestly. And the paint that is there is done perfectly, in my opinion. So overall, I definitely do recommend this mold. You can't go wrong with a New Age, as I've said many times in the past. It's still a great figure, but if you're looking for better articulation and the toon aesthetic, then this is what I'd recommend. Plastics are different, but that's pretty much Magic Square's signature at this point. So overall, yeah, definitely a recommendation. If you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to get your bell on so you get notified of future content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.